Your mother has a tattoo like mine? I said to the billionaire while waiting tables. Then he smiled. That slow, predatory curl of his lips that made the hairs on my neck stand up like I'd just handed him the keys to my soul. I didn't know it then, but that tattoo, a faded swallow inked on my collarbone, identical to the one hidden under his crisp Oxford shirt, was the thread unraveling my entire life. A mark of blood and secrets I'd carried for someone else's sins. And in that split second, as his eyes locked on mine like a shark scenting chum in the Hudson, I realized revenge wasn't just a choice. It was the only goddamn thing keeping me from drowning in the lies I'd swallowed whole. I was Brielle Harper, 28 and scraping by in the belly of New York City, where dreams went to die under the boot heels of the elite. 5 years ago, I'd been fresh out of community college in Queens, full of that scrappy optimism you only get when you're too broke to afford cynicism. I'd landed a gig as a junior accountant at Voss Enterprises, a gleaming tower of glass and greed in Midtown that housed one of the city's most ruthless real estate moguls. Harlan Voss wasn't just rich. He was the kind of billionaire who made politicians sweat and tabloids salivate, divorced 3 times, no kids, and a reputation for swallowing companies whole, spitting out bones. My mom, Lydia, had raised me alone after Dad bailed when I was 6. She worked doubles as a nurse in Brooklyn, her hands calloused from more than just 4 lines. That tattoo? She'd gotten it in her wild 20s. A drunken dare during a road trip to Atlantic City.
Or so she said.
It was our little secret. A matching set she'd inked on me for my 18th birthday. For luck, she'd whispered, her breath smelling of cheap Merlot. But luck?
Yeah, right.
That bird had been my albatross. It started innocently enough at Voss. I was crunching numbers for a shady acquisition, some waterfront properties in Red Hook that smelled like money laundering from a mile away. Harlan's right-hand man, Victor Kane, was the one feeding me the ledgers. Victor was slick, mid-40s, with a jawline that could cut glass and eyes that promised the world if you played your cards right. He took an interest in me early, late nights in the office. Takeout Thai. Whispers about how I had potential. I was flattered. Stupid. One thing led to another. And before I knew it, I was tangled in his sheets in his Tribeca loft, thinking I'd hit the jackpot. But Victor wasn't in it for love. He was Voss's fixer. The guy who buried bodies figuratively. Mostly. That Red Hook deal? It wasn't just real estate. It was a front for laundering cash from Harlan's offshore accounts, tied to a cartel Harlan had cozy ties with from his early days flipping properties in Miami. I stumbled on it by accident, cross-referencing invoices late one night. Emails from Victor to Harlan, coded references to swallows, code for the shipments. My tattoo itched that night, like it knew. I confronted Victor the next morning, my voice shaking as I shoved the printouts in his face. This is dirty, Vic. Felony dirty. We gotta go to the feds. He laughed, that charming bark of his, and pulled me close. Baby, you're in too deep now. Harlan takes care of his own, but I wasn't his. I copied the files to a thumb drive, tucked it in my bra, and bolted for the elevator. That's when it all went to hell. 2 blocks from the office, a black SUV clipped me at a crosswalk on Broadway. I woke up in Bellevue with a concussion, cracked ribs, and the thumb drive gone. Cops called it a hit and run, no witnesses, no plates. Victor was at my bedside with flowers, cooing apologies, but his eyes were dead. You slipped on ice.
Bree.
Clumsy girl. Mom visited too. her face pale under the fluorescence. Just rest.
Honey.
It's all gonna be okay. It wasn't. 2 weeks later, the feds raided Voss Enterprises. Headlines screamed, "Billionaire's empire crumbles. Accountant turned whistleblower spills all."
Me.
They pinned it on me. Victor's testimony, sworn under immunity, painted me as the mastermind, the greedy insider who'd cooked the books for a cut. Evidence materialized, forged emails in my name, timestamps I'd never seen. Harlan played the victim, the betrayed patriarch, testifying in a custom Tom Ford suit about how I'd seduced my way into the fraud. I got 5 years in federal lockup, FMC Carswell, that soul-crushing fortress in Texas where they warehouse women like forgotten luggage. Mom visited once, her eyes hollow. "I should have told you."
Bree. About the tattoo.
About him.
Him.
Harlan Voss. Turns out, my road trip story was bullshit. Lydia had been Harlan's mistress back in the 90s, before he hit the big time. She'd gotten pregnant me, but he paid her off to disappear. A hush-money deal sealed with matching ink, his signature for the women he discarded. She kept me hidden, raised me on scraps, but the sins caught up. Victor? He'd known all along. Harlan's bastard son from another fling, tasked with keeping tabs on loose ends like me. Parole came after 3. For good behavior, but New York had moved on. Voss Enterprises rebounded. Harlan's too big to fail, and Victor got a promotion, slinking through boardrooms like the snake he was. I crashed on Mom's sagging couch in Bay Ridge, waitressing at Les Cirque knockoffs, dodging pity stares. The tattoo burned under my uniform, a daily reminder I'd done the time for their crime. Harlan's empire, Victor's ambition, Mom's silence, they'd buried me alive. That night at the Ivy Room, a swanky Upper East Side spot where hedge fund bros tipped in crypto, Harlan Voss held court in the corner booth. Salt and pepper hair, still sharp as a switchblade, nursing a Macallan neat. I was clearing plates when our eyes met, mine narrowed.
His amused.
"Refill." "Sir?" My voice was steel wool. He leaned in, close enough I smelled his Creed cologne, the same as Victor's. "You look familiar, sweetheart." That's when I said it, low and lethal. "Your mother has a tattoo like mine?" I tugged my collar just enough to flash the swallow. His smile bloomed, slow and knowing, like I'd finally played my hand. "You must be Lydia's girl," he murmured, voice like aged bourbon. "Brielle, right?
Sit."
"Let's talk family." I didn't sit. I froze, heart hammering like a jackhammer on concrete. The booth's leather creaked as he slid a card across the table, his private number, embossed gold. "Call me. We have unfinished business." I pocketed it, walked away on numb legs.
But that smile haunted me.
It wasn't shock, it was invitation.
To what?
The Devil's Tea Party? Back in the break room, I chain-smoked Camels, staring at the card. Mom was at her shift, oblivious or pretending. I'd confronted her months ago about the truth, scraped it out of her over lukewarm Folgers. He was magnetic.
Bree.
Promised the world. When I told him about you,
he laughed.
Said I'd make a fine single mom on his dime. The payout, 50 grand, a non-disclosure, and that goddamn tattoo as a keepsake. She'd inked me to bind us, mother-daughter, against the world. But the world was Harlan's. I called him at 2 a.m., buzzed on box wine. "What do you want?" His laugh rumbled through the line. Redemption, darling. Or revenge. Your pick. We met at his penthouse the next on 1 Pen 1, that phallic spike piercing the sky. The doorman waved me up like I belonged. Harlan greeted me in silk pajamas, barefoot on marble floors that echoed like a tomb. Coffee steamed on a baccarat tray. The view swallowed the city whole. You're not what I expected, he said, handing me a mug. Fiercer. Like your mother, but with teeth. I sipped, scalding my tongue, punishment or penance. You framed me. Let your bastard son throw me to the wolves. Victor, yes. Harlan confirmed it coolly. A one-night stand in Cannes, DNA tested and disowned until useful. Victor's ambitious. I needed a scapegoat. You were. Convenient. Convenient. The word landed like a gut punch. I'd lost years. My career. My faith in people. For his convenience. But Harlan wasn't done twisting the knife. Lydia kept you from me. I could have given you everything: schools, connections, a name. Bullshit. He was spinning the paternal myth, the absentee dad routine from every bad Lifetime movie. Yet part of me, the starved kid part, listened. He dangled proof, my birth certificate, altered, with his name whited out. Photos of Mom, young and radiant, arm in arm with him at galas. Join me,
Brielle.
Help me bury Victor. He's overreaching, eyeing my chair. The offer hung there, toxic as secondhand smoke. Betray my betrayer? Team up with the kingpin? It was revenge wrapped in a velvet glove. But gloves slip. I walked out with a folder, dossiers on Victor's side hustles, fresh dirt from Harlan's PI. Embezzlement from subsidiaries. Affairs with bored wives. Even whispers of the old cartel ties resurfacing. Enough to torch him. That week blurred into a fever dream. I shadowed Victor, tailing him from his Soho gym to illicit meets in Hell's Kitchen dives. He was unraveling, paranoid glances, burner phones buzzing. Mom sensed my shift, cornered me in the kitchen. Stay away from him.
Bree.
He's poison. I snapped, the dam breaking. You should have stayed away. You let him mark us like cattle. She crumpled, sobbing into her apron. I protected you. He would have taken you, twisted you. Protected? Or preserved her lie. My first move was small, surgical, an anonymous tip to the Journal about Victor's affair with Harlan's third ex, spilling bedroom pics to a gossip rag. The splash was immediate, Victor denying it on CNBC, sweat beading under studio lights. Harlan texted, well played.
Dinner?
I went, dressed in thrift store chic, nerves frayed like old denim. Over steak tartare at Per Se. He probed. What's your price?
Brielle? Money?
Power? I met his gaze. Justice. You both rot for what you did. He chuckled, raising his glass. Ambition suits you. That night. He kissed my knuckles, fatherly, flirtatious, the line blurred, making my skin crawl. Was this Stockholm? Or something darker? I fed him scraps on Victor, watching the sons of bitches circle. Victor retaliated fast, a concerned call to my parole officer, claiming I'd violated terms by associating with felons. Bullshit. But it triggered a hearing. I lawyered up with Harlan Shark, pro bono. Strings attached and walked, but the stress carved hollows under my eyes. Deeper I went. Hacking Victor's emails, Harlan's tech guy made it easy. I uncovered the real bomb. He'd revived the Swallow shipments, funneling cartel coke through Voss luxury condos. Proof videos, manifests, the kind that could bury them both. But Harlan knew. Victor's testing me, he confessed over bourbon in his library. Walls lined with first editions he never read. He thinks blood makes him heir.
Blood. Mine too?
Apparently. He touched the tattoo through my shirt, casual as checking the time.
Ours.
A family mark. I recoiled, bile rising. This wasn't revenge, it was a spiderweb, sticky with incestuous lies. Yet I stayed, plotting. Mom fell ill, stress, the doc said, but I saw the cancer eating her from the inside. Chemo bills piled like snowdrifts. Harlan paid them, anonymously. Gratitude warred with disgust. He's buying you, Mom rasped from her hospital bed. Like he bought me. The flip came mid-autumn. Leaves bleeding red in Central Park. Victor cornered me outside the Ivy room, rain slicking his coat. Daddy's pet now.
Huh.
Think you can play us? His slap stung. A backhand that split my lip. You're nothing. A mistake. I tasted copper. Spat it at his Ferragamos. Mistakes have long memories.
Beak.
He laughed. But fear flickered. Good. I delivered the cartel files to Harlan, expecting triumph. Instead, he torched them in the fireplace, flames dancing like demons.
Not yet.
We draw him out. Draw him out? It was chess, and I was the pawn. That night, Victor broke into Mom's apartment, searching for leverage, finding her diaries instead. Pages of regret. Love letters to Harlan. My baby photos. He left them shredded on the floor. A message, I know everything. Mom died 2 days later. Not from cancer, from a fall down the stairs. Ruled accidental. But the bruises on her arms screamed otherwise. Victor's work. Sloppy in rage. The cops shrugged. Addict's daughter. Unstable mom. I screamed in the precinct. Veins popping. It's him. Victor Kane. They patted my shoulder. Grief talks funny. Miss. Funeral was a pauper's affair. Rain lashing the grave like judgment. Harlan showed, umbrella in hand, murmuring condolences. We'll make it right.
Right?
I wanted blood. But his version was colder. Corporate crucifixion. He leaked Victor's embezzlement to the board, forcing a vote. Victor fought dirty, counter-accusations, painting Harlan as the doddering tyrant, me as the gold-digging interloper. The boardroom war spilled public. Pundits on CNBC debated, was Brielle Voss the prodigal daughter or destructive siren? Social media split. Justice for Brielle versus Voss legacy. I became the villainous, accused of necromancy via daddy's wallet. Protests outside 1 Pen 1. Signs waving. Blood money kills mothers. Harlan thrived on it. Stock dipping then surging on the drama. My resolve cracked under the glare. Sleepless nights in a comped suite, Harlan's safe house. I stared at the tattoo in the mirror. A mockingbird mid-flight. Was I avenging Mom? Or becoming her? Victor reached out via proxy. A burner text joined me. We end him together. Real family. Real? The audacity. But temptation gnawed. What if Harlan planned to discard me too? Once Victor was gone, the climax brewed in a blizzard. December winds howling like banshees off the East River. Harlan summoned us both to the penthouse. Family summit, he called it. Victor arrived first, feral in a cashmere coat. I slipped in last, .38 tucked in my waistband, borrowed from Harlan's safe. For protection. The air crackled, thick with unspoken knives. We faced off in the study, city lights fracturing through iced windows. Harlan poured scotch, toasting to swallows. Home at last. Victor sneered. You're senile, old man. She's poison. I laughed. Bitter, says the son who murders mothers. His eyes widened. Gotcha. Harlan watched, amused, then dropped the bomb. I ordered the hit on Lydia. Loose lips.
You see.
And the accident? Brielle. That was Victor's gift to you. The room spun. Harlan confessed it all, framing me to test my mettle. Mom's fall, to silence her ravings about the old days. Victor? Complicit. Eager to prove loyalty. They'd played me like a Stradivarius. Brothers in betrayal. You're both mine, Harlan said. Voice velvet over razor. Blood or not. Rage ignited. Victor lunged for Harlan. I drew the gun. Shots echoed. Victor crumpling. Gut shot. Harlan untouched. But the twist. Victor's phone buzzed. A recording app open. He taped it all. Harlan's confession. My trigger finger. Smile. Sis, he gasped. Blood bubbling. You're famous now. Cops swarmed minutes later. Tipped by Victor's bodyguard. Harlan lawyered up, claiming self-defense, Victor's unhinged attack.
Me?
Accomplice. Again. But the tape leaked online before seizure. Going viral. Tattoo twist.
Debates raging.
Was I victim or vigilante? Daughter or destroyer? Harlan walked. Empire intact. Victor flatlined en route. I got life.
No parole. Ironic.
The bird finally caged. From my cell in Bedford Hills, I watched the fallout on smuggled tablets. Harlan visits Sundays. Our tattoos peeking like conspirators. Proud of you.
Brielle.
You chose family. Do I regret? Hell yes. But in the quiet hours, I trace the ink and smile. That same slow curl. Revenge wasn't the end. It was rebirth. Who's the monster now? You tell me. Wait. No, that's not how it ends. Or begins. Scratch that epilogue. The real story's in the marrow. The rot you can't wash out with bleach or bail money. After the penthouse bloodbath, the headline screamed Voss Air War, incestuous ambition or family redemption? But redemption? That's for Hallmark cards. Not the cold calculus of Manhattan machinations. I was Brielle Voss now, officially. After Harlan's lawyers petitioned to restore my name, a PR stunt slick as his hair gel. The public ate it up, the long-lost daughter rising from the ashes. Phoenix or Frankenstein's monster. Take your pick. Life behind bars was a different beast. Bedford Hills wasn't Carswell's Texas hellhole, it was New York's genteel purgatory. With yoga classes and GED programs masking the despair. But the whispers followed me. Daddy's girl, the inmates hissed, eyes hungry for scraps. I kept my head down, lifting weights in the yard, inking crude swallows on my knuckles with contraband Bic pens. The tattoo had become my brand, a barcode for betrayal. Harlan's visits were ritual, every Sunday, 2 p.m. Sharp. Delivered by chauffeured town car to the glass-partitioned room that smelled of industrial cleaner and regret. He'd arrive in bespoke wool, carrying care packages, Kiehl's creams, dog-eared Philip Roth novels. Once even a pearl necklace that matched Mom's old photos. For my girl, he'd say, pressing it to the glass. I'd pocket it, silent, until the guards signaled time. Why? I finally asked, 3 months in, voice cracking like thin ice. He leaned forward, elbows on the ledge, eyes twin chips of onyx. Because you're the best of us.
Brielle.
Lydia's fire. My steel. Victor was weak, chase shadows. You pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. The memory clawed up, Victor's gasp, the acrid bloom of gunpowder. Harlan's hand steady on mine as he guided the shot. Guided. That's what he called it in the deposition. The silver-tongued serpent. The trial was a circus, broadcast live from Foley Square. Prosecutors painted me as the scorned lover-turned-assassin. Defense spun me as the abused heir, brainwashed by patriarchal poison. Expert witnesses duked it out, psychologists diagnosing complex PTSD, toxicologists debunking the drug-fueled rage narrative. Harlan testified for hours, voice steady as a metronome. She acted to protect me. Her father. Instinct. The jury, 12 good men, and true. Half of them from Staten Island, 8 from his hand. Hung jury first round. Mistrial buzzed like flies. Second time. They acquitted on murder 1. Convicted on manslaughter 2. 20 to life. With good behavior, dangling like a carrot on a cliff. Appeals dragged. Years bleeding into gray. Harlan funded them. Tireless. While his empire metastasized, Voss Tower 2 breaking ground in Hudson Yards. Sustainable luxury for the 1%ers who pretended to care about carbon footprints. He'd send clippings, Brielle Voss, from felon to icon. Op-eds debated my redemption arc, feminists hailing me as survivor, conservatives decrying dynastic decay. I became a meme, a tattooed ghost haunting Twitter threads. Swallowgate trended eternally.
Spawning podcasts.
A Netflix docuseries pitch that Harlan squashed with NDAs. Inside. Alliances formed and fractured. My cellmate, Rosa, a Dominican lifer for trafficking, became confidant, trading stories over contraband commissary hooch.
Mia.
Family's the real cartel, she'd say, braiding my hair with care. But trust was fragile. A shank in the showers for looking at the wrong bitch's man taught me that. I studied law in the library, poring over precedents till my eyes bled, dreaming of habeas corpus like a lover's touch. Parole hearing came at year 5. A sterile boardroom with fluorescent hum and 3 stone-faced suits. Harlan pulled strings, donations to the governor's PAC. Whispers in Albany ears. I walked in cuffed, hair pulled back severe, reciting my reformed script, remorse for Victor, gratitude to Dad, plans for philanthropy. The board chewed it over, then stamped approval. Conditional release.
Yes. Voss.
Stay clean.
Clean.
As if ink washed off. Out in the world. New York had gentrified further. Bay Ridge Starbucks now. Mom's old building condofied. I moved into Harlan's guest wing at 1 Penn 1, a gilded cage with skyline views and a private chef who flinched at my orders. Paparazzi camped the lobby, flashes popping like gunfire. Brielle, one question, regrets about your brother? Brother. The word stuck like burrs. Harlan integrated me slow, board observer first, then junior exec, greenlighting deals with a nod. Voss Enterprises thrived on my story, marketing gold, the bad girl gone good. Charity galas where socialites cooed over my tattoo, probing for scandal. Such tragedy, your mother's fall, suicide, right? I'd smile. Harlan smile. And pivot. Donations to women's shelters. Legacy matters. But legacy?
It festered.
Nightmares replayed the penthouse. Victor's eyes. Pleading. The phone's red light winking. Had he rigged it? Or was it dumb luck? His paranoia birthing the perfect trap? I hired a PI discreet. Off books to dig. Turns out, Victor had been building the case for months, feeding Harlan loyalty tests while taping every meet. The hit on Mom? Join up. But Victor pulled the trigger. Harlan the planner. Brothers in arms. Until the crown slipped. The deeper dive unearthed more. Harlan's swallows weren't cartel coke anymore. They'd evolved. Insider trading tips smuggled via encrypted apps. Laundered through art auctions at Christie's. Victor wanted in. But Harlan dangled me as bait. A family reconciliation ploy to expose him.
Me?
The disposable pawn. Again. Rage simmered. But now it was layered, not just for Mom, but for the girl I'd been. Trusting and green. I started small count moves, accidental leaks to Bloomberg about Voss's creative accounting, stock dips that Harlan blamed on market volatility. He confronted me over dinner, filet mignon bleeding on fine china. Playing games, daughter? His tone was paternal, but eyes shark cold. I met it. Just balancing books. Dad. Fair's fair. He laughed. Clinking glasses. That's my girl. The real flip brewed in spring. Cherry blossoms mocking the concrete. A Voss rival, Elena Marquez. A Latina powerhouse from Brooklyn who'd clawed her way to real estate queen, reached out. Coffee at a nondescript diner in Williamsburg. Her vibe all Jersey steel. Heard your story.
Chica.
Harlan buried my father in the 80s union-busting goons and graves. You in for payback?
In?
Hell yes. Elena had dirt. Harlan's Miami ties weren't ancient history. He was bankrolling anti-immigrant PACs, displacing communities for luxury enclaves. We schemed in shadows, me feeding her Voss blueprints, her lawyers filing injunctions that stalled projects. Harlan suspected. Of course. Old friends, he'd probe. Casual over morning espresso. I deflect with kisses on the cheek. Darly.
Disarming.
But the tension coiled. Electric. Mom's birthday came, ghost date on the calendar. I visited her grave in Greenwood. Weeds choking the stone. I get it now.
Ma.
The silence. Protection. Wind whispered through oaks. Carrying Hudson salt. That's when the burner buzzed, Elena. We got him. SEC raid tomorrow. Your ticket out. Ticket out. But out to what? Harlan waited at home. Scotch in hand, the tape playing on loop in the study. Victor's dying words. My shot. His confession. Insurance, he said softly. You run. It drops. Full unedited. Shows you pulling first. Checkmate. I poured a drink. Hand steady. Then we rewrite the board.
Dad.
Together. The raid hit like thunder. Feds swarming one pen one. Badges flashing. Harlan played the martyr. Cuffs chafing his Tom Fords. Elena's tip had sealed it. Swallows as securities fraud. But in the chaos, I slipped the real bomb to a reporter. Harlan's PAC slush fund. Tied to election tampering. Double tap. He got house arrest, ankle monitor clashing with his loafers, while trials ground on. Elena and I carved up his empire. Her firm absorbing chunks. Me taking a sliver. Harper Developments. Named for Mom. No Voss in sight. Paparazzi flip script. Brielle rising. The Avenger heiress. Yet victory soured. Harlan's letters from his Upper East Side prison pleaded. Family.
Brielle.
Forgive. Forgive? The tattoo itched. A phantom wing. Elena warned. He's poison ivy, touch once. Rash forever. But blood's thicker than Merlot. One night, storm raging, I drove to his townhouse. Door ajar. Scotch bottle empty. He sat in the dark. Gun on the desk, my .38. Relic from the penthouse. End it, he rasped. Your move. I picked it up. Heavy as regret. Trigger cold. But I lowered it. Tossed the tape into the fire instead. Not yet. We talk. Dawn broke. Deals struck in whispers. Harlan stepped down. Elena got the crown. I the quiet corner, developing affordable housing in Red Hook. Swallows turned to homes for the displaced. He died a year later, heart attack. Or heartbreak. Obituaries hailed visionary. Buried the dirt. Now, I walk the waterfront. Tattoo faded. Wind off the bay carrying ghosts. Victor's tape? Destroyed. Secret sealed. Was it mercy or manipulation? You decide.
Me?
I just keep flying. Flying? Though, that's the cruel joke. Swallows migrate south for winter. But mine were chained to this frozen island, flapping against bars of bone and bad blood. Post-Harlan. The empire's carcass picked clean. I thought freedom would taste like fresh bagels and anonymity.
Wrong.
New York's a vindictive bitch. She remembers slights. Tally scores in subway graffiti and society page snubs. Brielle Harper, ex-boss. Pearly philanthropist. I was tabloid catnip. The tattooed tempest who toppled a titan. My quiet corner at Harper Developments was anything but. Red Hook lofts rose from rubble. Eco-brick facades hiding HVAC hums of hope. I poured sweat into it. Blueprints at dawn. Community meetings till dusk. Haggling with suppliers who eyed me like yesterday's scandal. Elena mentored from afar. Her Brooklyn brownstone a war room of wine and wire transfers. You're doing good.
Mia.
Ghosts don't pay rent. But they squatted. Rent-free. In my dreams, Mom's bruised throat. Victor's gurgling plea. Harlan's final exhale. The first crack appeared at a gala, MoMA fundraiser. Chandeliers dripping light like liquid gold. I wore black silk, tattoo peeking like a dare. Elena introduced me to the mayor, a slick Irishman with mayoral ambitions. Brielle's revolutionizing affordable housing, she beamed. He gripped my hand too long. Heard about your family drama. Tough break. Tough break. Like a fender bender. Not a felony freight train. Later. Buzzed on View. A reporter cornered me by the Rothkos. Off record. Harlan's will. Did he cut you out?
Will.
I'd burn that too. In a fit of fury post-death. No bequests. Just a codicil. To my swallows. Freedom. Symbolic shit. Or spite. The scribe pressed. Rumor has it Victor had a kid, your half-niece. Claiming shares.
Niece.
The word detonated. Digging confirmed it. Victor's fling with a model. A toddler named Aria. DNA-proven Voss spawn. Her mother. A faded influencer. Sued for inheritance. Harlan's estate. Peanuts now. But principal's a motherfucker. Lawyers circled. Smelling blood. Elena advised. Settle quiet. Don't wake the beast. But the beast was me.
Roaring.
I met them in a midtown conference room. Glass walls fogged with AC. The mom, Kayla, was brittle porcelain, toddler on her hip cooing at my necklace. Aria's eyes. Victor's, dark whirlpools. She deserves her legacy, Kayla said. Voice quaver. Legacy. I saw Mom's grave. Harlan's smirk. What legacy? A name that kills. Harsh. But true. We settled. Trust fund. My oversight. Aria called me Tia Bree, her tiny hand tracing my tattoo. Birdie fly. Yeah.
Kid.
Trying. The lawsuit splashed minor ripples. But Victor's ghost stirred bigger waves. Anonymous posts on X, deepfakes of the penthouse tape. My face morphed into glee as I shot. Swallow killer trended. Doxers flooding my inbox. Murderous.
Rot.
Threats escalated. Slashed tires on my Prius. Bricks through Harper office windows etched with vengeance is mine. Cops shrugged. Online noise, until a pipe bomb misfired in my lobby, singeing the doorman. Paranoia bloomed. I hired security, ex-NYPD bruisers who shadowed like hounds. Elena pulled me aside at our next powwow. It's Victor's cartel pals. Loose ends.
Cartel.
The swallows circled back. Wings tipped with fentanyl now. Flooding streets Harlan once owned. A Voss holdout, some mid-level goon named Rico, was peddling remnants, using Harper sites as drop points. Betrayals echo. I confronted Rico in a Red Hook warehouse, rain drumming sheet metal like war drums. He lounged on crates, gold chain glinting. Miss Voss. Daddy's debts ain't paid. I flashed the .38, habit die hard. Call me Harper. And debts? Tell that to the families you're poisoning. He laughed.
Toothpick dancing.
Hypocrite. Your blood built this. Built? Or burned? The standoff ended bloody, not mine. Rico's crew jumped me. Security intervened. Shots cracking like thunder.
One down.
Rico cuffed. Spilling to feds for leniency. Turns out, he'd been Victor's mole. Embedded since the frame job. Boss said watch the girl. If she sniffs, silence her.
Silence. Like Mom.
The DA cut a deal. Testimony for Voss exoneration docs. Ironic immunity. Cleanup consumed months. Site sweeps. Community trust rebuilds. Therapy sessions where I unpacked the tattoo like a trauma surgeon. It's a symbol, my shrink droned. Glasses fogged. Reclaim it. Reclaim? I got it lasered off, slow zap sessions in a Chelsea clinic. Skin bubbling red. Each pulse a purge. Harlan's touch. Victor's sneer. Mom's lie. Scar tissue remained. Pale wing stub, a half-flight. Honest. Aria became anchor. Weekends at Kayla's cramped walk-up. We'd bake cookies. Her sticky fingers painting my arms with washable ink, rainbows. Not swallows. No sad birds.
Tia.
Kayla softened too. Sharing Victor stories, his charm pre-ambition, the lullabies he'd hum. Humanized him. The bastard. He loved you. In his way. Feared you more.
Fear.
That's the currency of revenge. Mine bankrupted me. Nights pacing penthouse remnants. Harlan's cologne lingering like accusation. Elena noticed. Over takeout pad thai. You're drifting?
Bree.
What's the endgame? Endgame. I toppled the throne, but the crown chafed. Peace. I lied. Truth? Reckoning. It crystallized at Aria's 4th birthday. Bounce house in Prospect Park. Balloons bobbing like escaped dreams. Laughter rang. Then a shadow. Harlan's old lawyer. Briefcase in hand. Unfinished business. Ms. Harper. Inside. A safe deposit key. Mom's handwriting on the envelope. For Brielle. When ready. The box at Chase Manhattan held relics, Mom's journals. Unburned, Harlan's love letters. Florid and false, a second thumb drive. My originals from 5 years back. Uncorrupted. And a note. I took the fall to save you both. Forgive? Else saved? She'd planted the evidence. Framed herself as accomplice to shield me from deeper probes. Victor's seduction? Bait she orchestrated. Knowing I'd bolt. The accident? Suicide. Staged to expose them. Diaries as final whistle. Tears blurred the safety deposit vault's sterile glow.
Mom.
The real schemer, swallows flight path. Diving into fire for her chick. Betrayal inverted. I'd avenged the wrong ghost. Back home. I called Elena. It's bigger. Mom was the boss. Her laugh crackled.
Knew it.
Lydia had balls. We pivoted. Journals to publishers. Anonymized. A nurse's reckoning. Bestseller bait. Proceeds to Area's fund. Cartel remnants crumbled under fresh-fed heat. Rico flipping on Miami ghosts. Harper developments boomed. Red Hook reborn as beacon. But peace? Fleeting. Arya asked once. Crayon in fist. Tia sad. I hugged her tight.
Nah. Kid.
Just learning to fly straight. The scar itched. A reminder. No clean wings in this sky. Yet in quiet. Doubt gnaws. Did Mom's sacrifice justify the blood? Harlan's end, mercy or manipulation? Victor's tape, fate or farce? Readers, juries, you pick sides.
Me?
I keep building, one brick at a time, hoping the foundation holds. Bricks stack steady, but foundations crack under weight unseen, secrets, like seismic faults, waiting for the tremor. A year post-journals. Harper stood tall, 20 units leased. Waitlist tripled. City council plaques gleaming on the lobby wall. I cut the ribbon myself. Scissors cold in gloved hands. Flashbulbs popping like celebratory gunfire. Elena flanked me. Arm linked. Her grin fierce. From ashes. Amor. Ashes. Yeah. We'd sifted through plenty. Publicly, I was reformed royalty. TEDx talks on resilience in the rubble, profiles in the Atlantic hailing Brielle Harper, the anti-dynast. Privately, the scar pulled tight in stress. A tether to the undertow. Area's visits grounded me, her now 5. All gap-toothed questions and wild curls. Tia. Why no Birdie? I'd tickle her ribs. Birdie's gotta learn to walk first. Kayla and I evolved into awkward allies. Co-parenting over FaceTime and park playdates. She'd remarried, a teacher. Steady as oatmeal, and whispered once. Wine loose. Victor'd be proud. Messed up, but proud.
Proud.
The word lodged like bone in throat. I visited his grave unannounced. Weeds higher than Mom's. No flowers. You won.
Vic.
The tape's your legacy. Wind off Jamaica Bay mocked me. Gulls wheeling like white lies. The tremor hit summer swelter. Humidity thick as regret. A letter arrived at Harper HQ, hand-delivered. No return. Swallows return home. Meet at the old spot. Midnight. Old spot. Atlantic City Boardwalk. Mom's tattoo origin. I drove solo. Windows down. Springsteen crooning, born to run like prophecy. The pier creaked under neon ghosts. Slots chiming distant hymns. He waited by the rail, Rico. Out on technicality. Cartel ink fresh on his neck. Miss Harper. Loose ends. Gun in his waistband.
Casual.
Heart jackhammered. But I leaned on salt-crusted wood. Ends? Thought we tied those. He smirked, toothpick twirling. Your ma's book? Stirred the nest. Old man Voss had partners south of the border. They want tribute. Or blood. Tribute. Harlan's Miami ghosts. Resurrected. They'd funded the frame. The hit. Victor's rise. Now demanding cut from my empire. Rico slid photos across. Aria at preschool. Elena's brownstone. My scar peeking from a V-neck at the gala. Play nice. Or play dead.
Nice.
I pocketed the pics. Voice even. Tell M. Harper pays an exposure. Feds love sequels. He laughed. But unease flickered good. Back in the car. I called Elena. War round 2. She rallied. PIs. Lawyers. A sit-down with the U.S. Attorney downtown. We built the case airtight. Rico's threats taped. Cartel ledgers from Mom's drive decrypted. The bust went surgical. Dawn raid on a Weehawken warehouse. Rico and crew zip-tied. Headlines screaming, Harper heiress crushes cartel remnant. Victory lap? Short. The blowback was personal. Area's school lockdown. Bomb scare hoax. Caleb panicked. Custody petition filed overnight. You're a magnet for madness. Brielle. Courtroom 2 weeks later. Judge's gavel echoing like judgment. I fought. Character witnesses. Elena's testimony, but lost visiting rights pending stability review. Stability. As if blood bought it. Rock bottom. Alone in the penthouse. Sold but lingering. Echoes hollow. I uncorked Harlan's last Macallan. Label peeling. The scar burned. Or maybe it was me. Unraveling. Phone buzzed unknown. Voicemail played. A woman's voice. Accented soft. Senora Harper? We know Lydia's truth.
Meet.
Or the Nina pays. Nina Aria.
Cartel queenpin.
Perhaps Victor's old flame. Tying knots from the grave. I flew to Miami. Private jet. Elena's dime. Heat slamming like accusation. The meet. A Coconut Grove villa. Palms whispering threats. She waited on the veranda, Isabella. Mid-40s. Elegance edged with steel. Cartel royalty in Louboutins. Brielle Voss. The swallow flies far. No gun, just photos, Mom and Harlan. Young. Her arm banded with the same ink. Isabella's too. Twist upon twist. Isabella was Harlan's first swallow. Mom's rival in the 90s harem. Pregnant once. Lost the baby to stress, code for Harlan's indifference. She'd built her empire on his scraps. Victor her informant in the fold. He loved me. Not that puta, she spat. Meaning Mom. You? The mistake we all paid for.
Paid.
The frame? Isabella's nudge. Via Victor. To draw Harlan out. Mom's suicide? Isabella's cleaner. Silencing the diary threat. Rage crested. But exhaustion ebbed it. What now? Aria? Isabella sipped café con leche. Eyes appraising. Family? No. Blood death circle. She offered alliance. Her networks for Harper's legit cover. Smuggling flipped to solar shipments, greenwashing the gray. Or war. Your choice.
Choice.
The illusion. I walked the beach at dawn. Waves gnashing like teeth. Call Elena? Feds? Or dive deeper? Swallow deep? Back at the villa, Isabella waited. Aria's photo on the table safe.
For now.
Join. And she's anti. Refuse. And ghosts claim her. I signed provisional. A 6-month trial. Shipments rerouted. Harper fronts for panels, not powder. Isabella mentored ruthless. Negotiation in whispers. Loyalty in ledgers. Elena seethed. Your Voss after all. Maybe. But Aria's hugs resumed. Kayla's trust thawed. Just keep her safe, she begged. The debate rages internal. Am I redeeming or repeating? Cartel's grip loosens. Fewer threats. More trades, but the scar whispers warning. Isabella's laugh echoes Harlan's. Her touch on my arm. Maternal menace. Mom's journals. Once weapon. Now mirror. Choices chain us.
Bree.
Break or bind. Final twist. A package arrives. No sender. Aria's drawing. Crude swallow with 3 figures me. Her. A ghost-winged woman. Mom? Isabella? Below, we fly together. Heart cracks open. I frame it on my desk. Amid blueprints and bail bonds.
Ending?
No tidy bow. Harper expands. Affordable arcs from Miami to Red Hook. Swallow solar-powered. Cartel fades to footnote. Or festers underground. Aria asks less about birds. More about stars. I answer honest. We reach.
Kid.
Sometimes we burn. Debated. Heroes compromise or villains veil. Justice served. Or just deferred. The tattoo's gone. But the flight's forever. Yours to judge.